It's not over.
Stop the fight!
People.
Everybody, I come here for everybody. Kill everybody. I'm the champ. I'm the king. Kill everyone. Ah!
All right, guys, welcome back to Broke Bets. Lane here, giving you guys our picks and predictions. Also got my co-host Carson with me.
Yes, sir. UFC Singapore. This will be an early start time, so
Yes,
might
sir.
miss a couple of the early ones.
First fight, Choi versus Jarno Errens. I'm going with Jarno Errens as an underdog in this spot. Choi is shown to be very unreliable in his fights, and also just I think a mental toll will be placed on you after being finished the way he did against Trezano and beaten up by Kulabao and also knocked down multiple times. Choi just has he has good power, but that fight IQ is lacking in the stand-up. I think he was like a national champion in kickboxing. It doesn't really show because he just wants that left hook so bad, and he'll go into a 50-50 and lose. And if you can telegraph that left hook, you can beat this man. And from what I saw, Jarno Errens is pretty decent footwork and a pretty good laser beam of a right hand. And I think he stands a pretty good chance to knock out Choi. I'm gonna say early in the second round or late in the first round. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, for Choi, he's low to no IQ. He constantly looking for that left hook, like you said. That's probably his best punch, but that's what he's always using. So he telegraphs it. So you can pick up on it. And he's 2-4 as a favorite, and you see he's on a 3-fight losing streak, and he was all like minus 200, minus 225 in all of those fights. And that's pretty much where he is here as well. I think Errens can use that right straight and beat that left hook and put his lights out.
Yeah, the scare for this fight is that Jarno Errens has not very good grappling. I think his BJJ is okay, but the takedown defense and the takedowns just aren't good. And with Choi's fight IQ, I'm just going to assume he's not going to take the fight to the ground. I think he could if he wanted to, just because of his physical size and the advantage he'll hold there. But I think Errens has also good footwork. A lot of the times he can get taken down from trying spinning kicks. Against William Gomis, he tried like judo throws against a sambo guy. It's just not going to work. And even in that Gomis fight, in the second round, Errens just had a laser beam right hand land on Gomis, almost knocked him out, and then damn near flying knee knocked his head off. So I think that he just has a threat here. I think he's just going to be a good underdog. Choi's on a 3-fight losing streak. Like you said, that left hand's telegraphed. And yeah, I'm going to take I think, a little bit more dynamic striker here in Jarno Errens. Errens by KO round 2. Okay, for the next fight, we have Yusaku Kinoshita versus Billy Goff. I like the Japanese prospect here. He's young, struggled on his UFC debut, but I see very slick striking still from Kinoshita. And other than his UFC fight, the disqualification for stomping someone in the face while grabbing the cage, a weird disqualification. I just think he's going to be a way more slick striker here. And from what I've seen of Billy Goff, he's a tough guy, and he can just eat the punches until his opponent gets tired, and that's kind of his goal. And I just don't know if that's going to play out well here against a guy with pretty good slick counters and who fought a high pace for 3 rounds against his Contender Series opponent. So I like Kinoshita even to get a first-round knockout. I just think that Goff walks into range too recklessly, eats too many strikes, and it could just be ended early.
Yeah, Goff, he starts pretty slow, and he gets better as the fight goes on. He got rocked in the Contender Series fight, probably 20, 30 seconds in. Was able to survive and eventually get the finish after his opponent kind of gassed out. And Goff put on pretty good pace and pressure on him and just broke him down. But yeah, I think Kinoshita, he's a pretty good dynamic striker. He's finishing all of his opponents. I like this fight to go under. I like a first round KO either way, but I think Kinoshita can put his lights out here.
Yeah, I do like that under as well. I just feel like even that Contender Series fight, I just didn't see much that looked too great. Even the comeback finish, it was more looked like his opponent was giving up than like a clean strikes were hurting his opponent. I just felt like he wasn't very accurate. He wasn't landing very clean, and I feel like with Kinoshita, he'll probably have to grapple in this fight, and he did have pretty good ground and pound, but if he's going to walk into range, from what I've seen of Kinoshita, he changes those angles, and those counters are just great. I mean, obviously there's that finishing sequence, but to break down the range advantage that Souza had in that Contender Series fight, he had to just constantly change angles, create head movement, and he fought like the fighter with the reach advantage. So, I think that Kinoshita comes in here, and I think that Billy Goff goes down pretty bad. So, Kinoshita, round 1 KO. Okay, for the next fight, we have Toshiomi Kazama versus Garrett Armfield. I like Garrett Armfield a lot in this spot. Kazama coming into his first fight off the road to UFC, or I guess for the championship for the road to UFC, facing Nakamura, a hard fight to take, but really didn't have a good strategy. He came forward. He likes to pressure and clinch. And he came into range a little bit too reckless, and Nakamura made him pay. Garrett Armfield has a pretty good power on his hands, and I think that if Kazama walks into range as recklessly as he did, there's a chance he could just get flattened. And Armfield, if you've watched his other fights, he has good power. And let it be known, you watch that David Onama fight back, this guy was on short notice, up a weight class, and was outboxing David Onama in the first round with jabs. He was slipping strikes. I thought he looked really good considering the situation. And ultimately, he was just outsized by Onama, and it seemed like he could work those positions. But I think in a fair fight here, a kill cliff guy, I gotta trust the kill cliff guy. So Garrett Armfield, knockout round 1.
Yeah, I like Armfield here in this spot. Like you pointed out in his last fight. It was pretty close first round against Onama, and then he kind of slowed down in the second, since it was short notice and up at weight class. So give him a full camp here. I think he can make a statement here. He's only 26 years old too. Both these guys are, so I think he can make a good statement here.
Even with Onama, I thought the scrambles were good. He was getting back up to his feet pretty often. Kazama, on the other hand, a lot of just like dead clinching. I mean, he wasn't even fighting that great of opponents on the road to UFC. There's just like a lot of dead clinching time, and I don't know if that's going to help him win a fight here. I think that Garrett Armfield should be a bigger favorite. So, yeah, give me Garrett Armfield KO round 1. Okay, for the next fight, we have Liang versus JJ Aldrich. Gotta say JJ Aldrich, he's a big favorite, understandably. I'll take her by decision. Liang having no fight IQ nor strategy in a UFC fight. And just not a lot of skill. She took down Ariane Carnelossi for a little bit, and then it got turned on her and she got knocked out. JJ Aldrich, I probably judged her too much for losing to Ariane Lipski, because it looks like Ariane Lipski's actually improved and is a little bit better of a fighter than people expected. And she held a pretty competitive fight with Erin Blanchfield. I'd expect her mix in some wrestling and work the striking. Liang's been knocked out a lot of times before, but I just don't know if JJ Aldrich has that killer instinct. So, yeah, we'll go decision.
Yeah, I mean, for Liang, in their last 10 fights, they're all finishing here in the first or early second round. So, I mean, she's pretty much kill or be killed. She's gotten a ton of first round arm bars, but she's getting finished in quite a bit of those fights.
I wonder
for Aldrich, I mean, she's got the better competition as well here. I just think she'll be the better fighter overall.
I wonder if Liang will change her strategy, or if she'll come out like a chihuahua and just get fucking decked right away. I mean, I always am curious how like fighters like Terrence McKinney can just like come out and keep doing the same thing and expect different results. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, she will probably do the same thing.
Probably. All right. JJ Aldrich by decision. Okay, for the next fight, we have Kenan Seung versus Rolando Bedoya. Taking Bedoya here, I don't fully trust him. His regional fights, if you guys watch them, he got hurt pretty often in a couple of those fights. He's a little bit undersized for 170. But there is good upside. He's really high volume. I think a good comparison would be like Esteban Ribovics, who just fought recently. High volume striking, pretty accurate, and mixes in some good kicks. It's just scary because Kenan Seung on the other side just sits on the back foot and waits for the counter, and it could just be him sitting there, and just like how he did Ian Gary, almost finished Ian Gary, is just sit there and then hit him with one big shot and it could be over. So personally, I'm not going to have any part of this fight, whether it's the over, under, or either fighter. But I do think Bedoya takes this one by decision.
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of got to go Bedoya here at this point. I mean, Seung did hurt Ian Gary, but aside from that exchange, Ian Gary pretty much dominated, and that was pretty much expected. And he got finished early by Max Griffin as well, in one previous. And then for Bedoya, I mean, those kicks, and he surprised a lot of people in the Cass Williams fight. He's never been finished before, but he's been hurt multiple times, like you said. I like him to win this fight, but probably no betting action for me.
Yeah, Chaos Williams, I don't know. I felt weird about that fight. I felt like if Chaos just like straightened out his punches and been a little smarter, he could have knocked out Bedoya. Maybe a little bit salty still on some of that, even though but somehow Chaos Williams got that decision when he clearly Bedoya won that fight. And these Peruvian fighters, man, they're on the up and up. I'm forgetting his name, Marcos.
Daniel Marcos?
Daniel Marcos, and there's just the Boros guy on the Dana White's Contender Series, and Bedoya. These Peruvians all pretty fast hands. I like that about all of them, and good kicks. So,
Bedoya's only 26 as well, too. So
right, give me Rolando Bedoya by decision. Okay, for the next fight, we have Chidi and Njokuani versus Michal Oleksiejczuk. I barely like Oleksiejczuk more here. A true pick'em fight. Chidi and Njokuani has a lot of good attributes. He's got that big frame. He's got good Muay Thai striking. Kind of uses the elbows, the knees, all that stuff. But I think there's that dog spirit and ability to withstand damage that he hasn't quite shown as much. And I think the easy one to point at is that Gregory Rodriguez fight. Where he had him dead to rights and then slowed down and Rodriguez got back in the fight. And then as well, Albert Duraev just wasn't active enough in that fight, and then Albert was able to mix in some wrestling. I just think that Oleksiejczuk's not going to give him a break in this fight, and Oleksiejczuk will probably take a lot of damage in round one, and it might be a decent live betting spot, I guess, if Chidi's tired, but I think that a late comeback victory is very likely for Oleksiejczuk here. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, true pick'em here. I think if Chidi wins, it's probably in round one. He's shown good power in the first round, especially. And then the obvious one, the Rodriguez fight, he slowed down. And that's even late in the first round, he was slowing down. And then second round, he was out of gas. He does have a huge reach. I think one of the longest reaches in the middleweight division, 80 inches, compared to the 74-inch reach from Oleksiejczuk. But I think as this fight goes on, Oleksiejczuk will put on the pressure and be able to get to Njokuani, be able to touch his chin. So give me Oleksiejczuk. Do you like a finish?
I think it would happen if it happens on the Oleksiejczuk side. He's gone to a lot of decisions before, but the pressure, I think, will play a big part in it. And Njokuani, the way he kind of just gave up against Rodriguez isn't a great sign. Right. It's just such a hard prediction. I think Oleksiejczuk could walk into range at the same time, and Njokuani could use those knees really against him. It's a really tough fight to call. But yeah, I'm gonna take the dog spirit in Oleksiejczuk. Yeah. Also, I feel like Oleksiejczuk's fought guys maybe not the size of Chidi his whole career, the frame, but a similar size. You know, he fought Dustin Jacoby, he fought heavyweights, he fought Jimmy Crute.
Yeah, that was up a weight class too.
Yeah, and even Kyle Browlow was a big middleweight. So, and he didn't perform horribly in that fight. I mean, he came out and went for the kill right away, which was probably the only way to win anyway. So, yeah, Oleksiejczuk KO round 2. Okay, for the next fight, we have Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Lukasz Brzeski. I gotta go with Waldo. I don't really think the odds are right here, though. If I were to set this line, I would put it at like minus 220, maybe, for Waldo. I think that the fight IQ is really lacking. I know I'll probably set it for almost like so many of these fighters that have fought or are on this card, but I just don't know. He leaves that lead leg out there for leg kicks so much, and he doesn't switch stance. He doesn't do anything. Just doesn't show much IQ. And for a guy who fights really well behind the jab, you should at least get an equal jab for when those kicks come some of the time, or use your right hand down the middle. I don't feel like he's super well rounded. And Lukasz Brzeski, I think, does hold a chance to win this fight just because he is high volume. Now, he's not very technical, but he's high enough volume, and I think he has the cardio to make it to a decision as well. I'm going to say this one, Waldo wins by decision, but what are you thinking here?
Yeah, I mean, now that you say that, I do like, wonder what the over-under would be set at and the price of it.
Hopefully 1.5. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see a finish either way. I think both these guys are pretty tough and durable. But for Waldo, I mean, he fights behind that jab really well. But like you said, his knock is the leg kicks. He can get chewed up. Right. And I mean, Brzeski versus Carl Williams didn't really throw any leg kicks, and leg kicks were available in that fight as well. So if he goes to those, I think he's got a decent chance to win this fight. But yeah, I'm sticking with the better striker here with Waldo.
Yeah, I think Brzeski, high volume, doesn't land. He really doesn't have much power at all. You know, he's got KOs obviously on his record and stuff, but like the Boudet fight, not a lot of power on his strikes. Gets taken down by Carl Williams a lot. Even his Contender Series fight, nothing crazy going on there. And he's not really connecting very clean either. And if he's going to use his leg kicks, he's got to put a lot of power into them, because De Lima made that investment very fast in that fight, and it paid off. If Brzeski does that early, it would be smart. If he doesn't, it might just cost him the fight. So, yeah, stick with Waldo by decision. Okay, for the next fight, we have Junior Tafa versus Parker Porter. I'm going with Junior Tafa. Parker Porter just beat a bum in Braxton Smith. He's kind of just in that category of the Chase Shermans, the Jared Vanderas, the Josh Parisians.
Alan Boudreaux.
Who'd you say? Alan Boudreaux?
Alan Boudreaux.
Yes. Yeah. Add him to the list. I mean, they're all just not very technical or good, and the fact that Parker Porter's also lost weight is not a great sign, because I think he could use that weight versus Junior Tafa in a fight like this, where he could help to get the fight to the ground. Obviously, it's a lot of it's dead weight because it was a lot of fat. But, you know, it's weird to me. How do these guys get so fat and train MMA? Like you lose weight so easily grappling and shit. So I don't even understand it. But they must eat like a pig. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I gotta go with Tafa by knockout, though. I can't trust Parker Porter, and Tafa, I can't trust him either. But I'll trust a knockout somehow.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that would worry you if you're taking Tafa is a ground game, but I mean, I just don't really see Porter being able to take it there or wanting to take it there. I mean, he would want to after he got hurt, but I think that would be too late. I like Tafa first round KO here. Yeah,
and it's like Porter when he gets up on the fence. I just don't know if he's got the clinch takedowns. Not that Muhammad Usman's all that good either. I mean, he's trash, but like, there's just that a little bit more strength on the side of Muhammad Usman to get that fight to the ground. I don't know.
He's also on steroids. That helps.
Well, yeah, that dude doesn't know how to move his fucking arms. The fact that his nickname was Motor too, or is Motor, is hilarious to me too. But that's another story. Okay. Tafa did hurt Usman multiple times in that fight. I do feel like Parker Porter too, just like the way he got knocked out against Tafa's brother, Justin Tafa, was just sprinting into a punch that he got countered on. So I could see that happening again here. Yeah. I don't want to bet on this fight. So it's kind of either bet Tafa by knockout or don't bet this fight at all. So Tafa, KO, round 1. Okay, for the next fight, we have Erin Blanchfield versus Talia Santos. I'm going with Talia Santos. I think Erin Blanchfield is good, but I just don't see all the hype. Obviously, she's got the grappling ability, but so does Talia Santos. And on the feet, I don't think either of these two girls are very great on the feet. And I think Talia Santos, I'm going to take the stronger girl in this instance. She's a little bit taller. She has less body fat. I think she's a little bit stronger. And scrambled really well against Valentina. Ended up on some good positions there. And I think she can outstrike her, maybe just barely clinch up. I mean, Erin Blanchfield's been taken down a couple times. JJ Aldrich got her down. I think there's a chance that Talia Santos could also just get to back control and sit on her for the fight. So I like Talia Santos just barely, but I should not be the guy to trust on this prediction, to be honest, because I'm horrible at predicting Erin Blanchfield's fights, besides when she beat Miranda Maverick and JJ Aldrich.
Yeah, I mean, Talia Santos just went to split decision. Arguably, some people thought she won that fight against Valentina, and now she's getting this up-and-comer, 24 years old. Some people think she'll be future champ, Erin Blanchfield. I think at 30 years old, Talia Santos is still in her prime, and I think it could be a little bit too early for Erin Blanchfield here. Still, I'm only 24 years old. It's a big step up in competition, I think, for her.
I think she does some things like she has pretty high volume striking on the feet, but leaves her chin out to be hit, it feels like, the whole time. And I feel like Talia Santos also did beat Valentina. I think under the way Aljamain Sterling kind of beat Petr Yan, where she just held back control, it kind of dominated a lot of the fight. But then Valentina played the Petr Yan in the late rounds versus Aljo, where she did all the damage. So there's also a headbutt in that fight that blew up Talia Santos' eye, I remember. But anyway, it's a hard fight to either read on. I don't know how to get a great read on Erin Blanchfield. She had some decent head kicks, but she beat Jessica Andrade to the punch. But also Andrade was just walking into punches and swinging.
It was a short notice fight, wasn't it, too?
Yeah, and she was swinging wide hooks. I just don't know if she can beat the range that Talia Santos is going to want to fight with. So, yeah. Talia Santos by decision. Okay, for the next fight, we have Rinya Nakamura versus Fernie Garcia. Gotta go with Nakamura here with the wrestling accolades and the powerful striking. He's kind of got that Bo Nickel ability. I mean, obviously maybe not the same credentials, but the Bo Nickel ability where the threat of the takedown is so evident that the striking on the feet can be very threatening. And I don't love the number on this guy. He's minus 700. He just beat a dude who didn't know how to protect himself on the feet. And Fernie Garcia is tough. And he knocked down Brady Heistand. He got out grappled for a decent portion, but also he had some decent scrambles even in that fight. So I don't love the number or anything about it, but I do feel that Nakamura still is the better fighter here. And I do still like this fight to go under, just because he's chaotic. So, what are you thinking?
Right. Yeah, I mean, numbers obviously so wide. Can't really play just him. But, I mean, just with the wrestling accolades, like you said, and his stand-up ability as well. He's got pretty decent power. As you you saw in his last fight. But Fernie Garcia's never been finished before, submitted or knocked out. So he's Mexican tough. I wonder if Nakamura can get to him early. Be interested to see, but I got to go Nakamura here.
Yeah, he's kind of an adrenaline dumper. He's flying knees and going into 50-50s against the Mexican chin could be a little scary there because...
Yeah, for this fight being in Singapore, you got to imagine a lot of people will be cheering for him. And if they get to him, he might be brawling with Fernie Garcia and could possibly get KO'd.
Yeah, I do like this as like a first test in the UFC. I think it'll be like a pretty proven, like a good proving ground for Nakamura here. So
right.
Yeah, and also there's a chance he could take this to the ground. I think it'd be a little bit tougher for him to do it that way. It seemed like Fernie Garcia mostly just get out wrestled by high stand because of size. Obviously Nakamura's gonna have better technique than Brady high stand, but anyway, Nakamura. KO round 1. Okay, for the next fight, we have Giga Chikadze versus Alex Caceres. Gotta take Giga. I'm gonna bet him at some point. I know I probably will something. I just feel like, that powerful striking that Giga has. I've been sad to see him gone for as long as he has. Calvin Kattar just, out-dogged him in that fight. And in a 5-round fight, it just favored a guy like Kattar and Giga great kicks, great hands. I do think he'd make this one a decision win, though. Alex Caceres is a very good backward moving fighter, and I just feel like Giga will be moving forward, and Alex will probably circling a lot of the fight. So, yeah, give me a Giga by decision.
Yeah, for Giga, he's been out for a year and a half after that fight against Calvin Kattar. Interested to see how we'll come out here early in this fight, just with that long layoff. But like you said, former kickboxer, his kicks are incredible. I think he'll be putting the pressure on Caceres, and Caceres will be circling. But I got to go with Giga here.
Very, very big featherweight as well. I feel like he makes one of the bigger cuts to this weight class. And Caceres stands in that wide stance, too. Could open him up for a lot bigger body kicks, leg kicks. But yeah, I see a point fighting here to a decision. Maybe Chikadze slows down his fighting style a little bit as well to shape up for, a decision win. So, yeah, Giga by decision. Okay, for the next fight, we have Anthony Smith versus Ryan Spann, the rematch no one asked for, but we got. We're going to take Ryan Spann. I'm a little bit in disagreement. I wouldn't say, I'm like 50-50. Anthony Smith already beat him before, and that wasn't, a long time ago. I just feel like Ryan Spann just runs a very inconsistent train, and he has a lot of momentum, and he's going to lose it, and I feel like Anthony Smith could get in the way of that just because he's a little bit harder to finish. But we'll go with KO round 1 for the guy who's super inconsistent. We'll go Spann. What do you think?
Yeah, Superman Spann is up and down. His last fight losing Krylov, but the two before that, Reyes and Kulabau, those were probably two highs of the high fights for him. Yeah, Kutalaba. My apologies.
You're good.
And then, for Smith, he's super tough. He's only been finished by Ankalaev with that injury there, and then Teixeira in the 5th round, and then
he's got finished way back Santos. From there, pretty much. And he just has so much fight experience. Like Ryan Spann he doesn't fight like a 29 fight veteran. Like that just isn't his style. I don't know.
Spann's gonna go all out in that first round. So if it's getting out of the first round, I think Smith wins it. But if not, I like Spann here.
Spann should fight like Johnny Walker did against Anthony Smith, which was just pretty much sitting at range, not doing much. Kick the lead leg, I mean, Ryan Spann has a really good jab, but the problem is he doesn't fucking... Well, he does use it, but then he, like, he rushes in and tries to use his right too much. Just touch, just touch. Maybe he'll change up his strategy. I just have, like, no good feelings about, I don't have a great feeling about Ryan Spann winning this fight. I don't like the under 1.5, to be honest, either, because if Smith wins it, there's a chance that it could go over. I don't know. I don't have a great feeling with this one, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's a 50-50 fight. I mean, if Spann wins, it's definitely in under the 1.5, I would imagine. But, I mean, Smith has the ability to finish early like he did in their first fight. But, I mean, he also has the toughness to go long and finish him later.
Right.
Decision.
I feel like, rewatching the Ryan Spann and Smith first fight, like... Ryan Spann's, I think he just got a little tired pretty fast. He had some actually nice strikes on Anthony Smith. And then when Anthony Smith started to touch him, his legs were just like doing the chicken dance, standing up. And you could put like Benny Hill music over it, like like that whole thing. He just, I don't know, he's so inconsistent. I don't know how much more I can say it. Any more thoughts?
He's inconsistent, yeah, I got it.
Ryan Spann, KO. Round 1. Alright, guys, welcome to the main event prediction. Please drop a like, subscribe, drop a comment down below, getting you guys these picks as soon as we can. Main event, Max Holloway versus the Korean Zombie. Blessed expressed. There's not much to say here. It's a horrible matchup, not to mention a horrible matchup to do in Singapore, where they're probably going to cheer for the Asian fighter. And, he's just going to get shredded. I think this is going to be a late finish. Accumulation of damage is in the Zombies game, and it's Max's style. So, adding up those punches, and, I'm going to go knockout round 5.
You think Korean Zombie's retiring after this one?
I don't know, man. If he just would have fought down the ladder, man, he could have had some good... he was in some good scraps before, but the Volkanovski fight was just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, he was fighting for the title in his last fight. I mean, it's like, he was right there.
It's hard because he didn't even have a moment. He didn't have a single
right.
moment in a fucking three-round fight that finished right away in the 4th, pretty much. So...
Yeah, I mean, just accumulation of damage. I think Holloway is just going to tear him apart here. Sucks to see for the Green Zombie, especially in, I'm not going to say hometown, but his part of the world. But yeah, I mean, Hiker Holloway's got this.
And the Zombie's just so heavy on that lead leg that his head, he just keeps his head out in front and it just absorbs strikes. Max is going to be too fast. And it's hard for Max, too, because, who do you match him up against? You don't put him up against Topuria, because you don't want to risk losing Topuria as a possible title fight. And, this matchup was made, I think, before that Topuria fight happened. But it's hard to match him up. He's fought a lot of the top people. The Zombie's face will be completely purple. That should be a bet. What shade of purple will the Zombie's face be at the end of this fight? Wish I could bet that. And I'm sorry, I love the guy, and I don't think he's going to be able to get this fight to the ground and work any of his BJJ either, so... Yeah. Anything else? Any other thoughts here?
Yeah, it's just tough. Who do you even pair up Holloway with in his fight? You can't really... He just beat Arnold, just 4. Don't want him fighting Topuria. Ortega's at 3. He's already fought him.
Nathaniel Wood?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I want to see Korean Zombie beat somebody for his retirement fight, but I don't know.
All right. Well, that's the prediction. I don't want. We sound so sad for picking Holloway. We may get sad because it's probably gonna be destruction, but Alright guys, welcome to the UFC 292 recap of the bets and just some of the fights as well. First of all, seeing Aljo go down like that, come on guys, come on. I'm not even the biggest Sean O'Malley guy, but like that was deserved. Anyone calling him the GOAT, bro? What are you talking about? Wins it by a knee, wins a split, wins by injury, and then wins another split. Come on. What are we talking about? All right. Straight bets. We got I got a live bet in on Mario Batista. I've seen Damon Blackshear slow down versus Yusuf Zalal after round 1 due to the wrestling. And Batista, he's gone hard rounds with, O'Malley, Kyler Phillips, Marcus McGee, all these other great bantamweights, and Damon just got a little bit heavier as the fight went on. I could tell Batista kind of could take over. I put a little bit behind it. He definitely lost round 1, but it was pretty clear to me that he was going to take over, and he did. Fighter parlays. Took Rodriguez and Vera. I mean, Rodriguez, dude, he should have been like minus 600. It's just that one touch of the chin, but that takedown was so easy. The elbows were easy. And Joe Rogan was driving me crazy. I mean, Joe Rogan, DC was a little bit crazy this too, but like when Rodriguez threw his elbow, Tulian showed the back of his head and he moved as the elbow was coming down. So it's like, that you can't take that away from Gregory Rodriguez for one strike. And then the same thing with the Chito Vera fight. Joe Rogan could not stop talking about Pedro Munoz's volume in the fight with not many clean strikes landing, and he acted like Munoz was running away with the fight. Drive me crazy. If you turned off the commentary, you'd be like, oh, it's a close fight, but Vera's definitely hitting Munoz more, and that's how it ended up, and that's how the judges saw it. It made total sense. Okay, for the prop bets, we had to start off Marina Moroz and Karina Silva over 2.5 rounds. Ended up being a bad bet. There's a knockdown. Karina Silva did a lot of damage. I don't really know what Moroz was doing at the end of round 1. Like, it was such an obvious guillotine setup. All you have to do is fight the hands and try to beat a single knee. And she just sat there and pretty much just let her net get taken, and then also tapped with 1 second left. So I don't know. It's a whatever bet. It wasn't our biggest bet. Somewhat regretful, but it happens. Next, Weidman and Tavares. Weidman is not gonna do. He doesn't have that like knockout power at that age, and then Tavares is so gun shy. Beat a lot of line movement, paid off. Again, Rodriguez, Tulian. Rodriguez goes under, Tulian goes under. Done. Easy money. Main event. My logic the whole week was, and I felt better about Sean as the week went on. Like I really liked Aljo and I picked him, but for the fight I really thought he'd get the takedowns. But I was thinking more. Aljo doesn't really have great takedowns at range. He's just a guy who will clinch you on the fence, and if he's stronger than you, he will take you down. And Henry Cejudo's arms were too short to really dig underhooks, and Sean O'Malley's arms are long enough that he could actually get his elbows underneath Aljo's arms, and it helped. And also, I was thinking Sean, if he controls the center of the cage, this could be his fight, and kind of held his ground well, and Sterling didn't have enough chain wrestling, and boom, Sean sparks him. Also, just Aljo, that's what Petr Yan could have done that if he just would have thrown the punches when Aljo was being as lazy as he was with stuff. But the logic too is just Sean, probably him by knockout, or Sterling gets the takedown. So under 4.5, played out really well, beat a ton of line movement there as well. Amanda Lemos ended up being a horrible bet. I thought, she did have those power punches still on Zhang, but Zhang looked huge, bro. She got so dense, and her wrestling was really heavy. That being said, Lemos still had, her moments with some chokes, but inexperienced in, competitive high-level fights, because she's kind of been just finishing chicks and then fought, some higher-level fights, but just not as many rounds. Down further, got Ian Gary, and the main event, or the co-main did not go the distance. I don't know how that co-main, I don't know how Weili can't get a finish in that fight. I was shocked she got a performance bonus. I was like, so surprised. In round 1, you have 60 significant strikes, slowed down, but when you're in side control on someone like that, and they can't even get their guard back for so long, typically you can set up a Kimura, set up something, but oh well, it was still a good performance, but I really thought she'd get a finish there, and a lot of people did. Ian Gary, come on, Neil Magny, what are you doing? Also, Gary, what are you doing? You could finish this dude in the first round if you really, really wanted to, but didn't want to risk anything. Kurt Holloway and Austin Hubbard over 1.5. I got that by like 3 seconds. That was my counter for the unlucky Karine Silva submission at the end of round 1. That was made up for it by barely going over. And then finally, Weili and Lemos in round 1 or 2. It was the only way it was going to happen, and again, not the best bet, but still, I thought there was some value there. I talked about looking at betting Gerald Mearshart after round 1, but he kind of won round 1, and I kind of wanted him to lose round 1 for the best value for a bet like that, so didn't end up pulling the trigger on that. And yeah, new champion. Sorry, Aljo. You're going down. All right, guys. Bets video Thursday afternoon, and peace.
I know. It doesn't matter from the trenches. I'm built like this. Don't doubt me, I couldn't do it. The odds that I couldn't do it. Look at me now.